everyone, this is Judy Miller with the Urbana Park District at the Interpretive Nature Center. Today I'm going to take you for a hike in the woods. We'll look at some wildflowers, but mainly we're going to go to the ponds to see what's in the ponds. I've brought our backpack that you can borrow, and we'll be using the equipment in it to see what lives there. Let's go. Busey Woods is a 59-acre nature preserve, oak hickory forest. It's considered a bottomland forest, which means that it floods regularly and the plants that live there have to be able to withstand some wet conditions. We're going to travel on the boardwalk trail, which is in orange. It's about a third of a mile. Notice the little white squares. Those are called pop-outs and interpretive sites. We're going to go to one where we can look at the pond life. This is the saline branch of the Salt Fork River. Until 1909, this used to flow through the woods, and we'll be visiting the ponds, which are the remnants of that river area. This goes on down into St. Joe and Homer. We've had rain last night, so the river's a little high. We crossed over the bridge of the Saline and come along to the boardwalk trail. And as we decide which path we're going to take, we notice that the redbuds are blooming. We have a sign that the Park District has put out that gives us some trail etiquette during the COVID-19. Let's see what it has to say. It's asking us to stay 6 feet away and to take a right at this intersection so that people don't have to pass us. The woods are so much greener. There's hardly any brown on the forest floor. We're gonna go up here to the ponds to do some pond dipping.
Mind the way.
The Nature Center has several backpacks that people can borrow and take out to discover the parks around them. This is the pond backpack with just a few items that I took out that we're gonna use today to see what's in the ponds. Here's a small pan, whitish, to show off the animals, a couple magnifying containers, our net so that we can scoop the critters out, one of several pond books in it, and a wonderful sheet showing all the kinds of animals, that live in the pond. And we'll take a close look at this when we see what's in the ponds. Now we're going to see what's in the ponds. I have a net that I'm going to scoop up animals and plant matter with, and my knees are on the inside of the edge of the dock. Let's see what we can find. I'm going to swoop around back and forth, get down as far as I can. I'll bring it back up, let it drip, and then we're going to see what's inside. I put some water in the bowl and took a little bit of the matter that was inside the net. Here's the net. Looks like a lot of mess. So you don't want to dump all of it in there because it'll be just like the pond and you won't be able to see things. There's a few bigger things. By bigger, I mean, I don't know, about the size of a comma. These are invertebrates, which means I can see them with my naked eye. I do not need a microscope. The thing that's scooting around there, I think, is a scud, which lives in the ponds, right there. See if I can get him to focus better. There it is. There's little tiny specks floating around in there that are moving, and those are Daphnia or water fleas. So after you've scooped, push the underside of the net up and through and look under these leaves to see if there's anything crawling or that doesn't look like leaf matter, or you can just take the leaf and dip it in the water, swish it around, and then toss it back in the pond, and we can see what we might find. Here's a water pill bug. It looks like the roly-polies you find under logs, but it lives in the water. We have a little baby crayfish here, chasing some of the scuds. Ooh, he says lunch. Let's see what else we can find inside here. This leaf matter is from last year's plants from the fall. And notice how they're all breaking apart. These animals eat this and turn it back into soil. Let's put this one in, swish it around, see what's in there. Let's see, so there's our little water pill bug. Some scuds. The scud, I don't think you can see with my phone, has a little air pocket on the tail end of it. This here is a clam, a little white clam. The crayfish is pretty tiny still. As the spring continues, he will get much bigger. Oh, there's two crayfish. There's one over here too. Lots and lots and lots of Daphnia, again, which feed everything. So now I'm done with what's in this net. I'm going to turn it upside down over the pond and pound it on the edge of the pond, because then my net is all clean and ready to use to scoop some more or to dry out and put it back in the backpack. Okay, we're done with our pond water. That's it. That's all the animals we're going to collect today. I'm going to put them back where they live so they can survive. And I'm going to gently dump it and shake it over the water. And my bowl is now pretty clean. Here's some drawings of the crustaceans or mollusks that you can find in the pond. This is the fingernail clam that we saw. It looked like a little white pebble. Here's a couple other critters that we saw. Here's the crayfish. We didn't see any fairy shrimp. They may be done. They're usually around in March and early April. Here's a scud that we saw several of. And here's the isopod or the aquatic sow bug that we saw as well. Here are some drawings of the very tiny things we saw. The Daphnia or the water flea. I didn't see any copepods, but they might have been in there. Here's the pond that we were dipping from. We're along the boardwalk trail where there are several what we call pop-outs or expanded boardwalk areas where we can do programs or get out of the way when people are wanting to pass us. These ponds will dry up in the summer, so all of the animals that live here have to be able to survive when there is no water. We don't have any fish that live in the ponds because obviously they can't survive when there's no water. There's a nice little interpretive panel that will talk about what the ponds look like and what's in it. So for example, here's the fairy shrimp and a mosquito larva and a water strider and a salamander. Some of the wildflowers that you can see in the woods today are the spring beauty. They're the white flowers with pink stripes, and the purple violets. Here's another spring beauty. There are several species of violets. Here's a yellow violet. They aren't all purple. Growing throughout the woods, you'll find swamp buttercup. If you'll remember at the beginning, I talked about the woods being a wet woods, a bottomland forest. So this is one of the plants that prefer this kind of wet condition. I went off the boardwalk trail on some of what we call soft paths. Sometimes they're wood chips, sometimes they're just dirt. And the boardwalk trail was built in 2005 because, as you can see here, when we get a lot of rain, or in the spring when the snow melts, the lower parts of the woods flood, as we can see right here. That makes it really hard to hike. Hi, Judy Miller again. Thanks for going for a hike with me today. I hope you learned some things about the ponds and about Busey Woods and some of the wildflowers. Here's the backpack again. Once we're open again, you can come and borrow these for just we ask that you leave a credit card deposit. We have ones on both Busey Woods and Meadowbrook for spring and summer and fall and winter. We have the pond one, and then we also have an astronomy one. Thanks for joining me today. Have a good day.